I was always curious to see what it would take to make my husband snap. Then I found out the hard way. Jason is the calmest person I've ever met in 12 years of marriage. I've never seen him raise his voice. Not when someone rear-ended his truck. Not when a contractor scammed us out of $8,000. He just breathes, stays steady. Figures it out. Our daughter Crystal is 8. She's blind, has a guide dog named Luna, a golden retriever trained specifically for her. She's Crystal's eyes, Crystal's safety, Crystal's best friend. We were at the park one Saturday when it happened. Crystal was sitting on a bench with Luna's harness in her hand. Jason got up and kissed my forehead. Going to the bathroom. Be back in 5 minutes. Walked away. That's when they showed up. A woman and her son. The boy looked about 10. He spotted Luna immediately and ran over. Mom, look at this dog. He was already reaching for Luna before I could say anything. Can I pet her, please? I hesitated. Technically, you're not supposed to pet service dogs while they're working. But Crystal doesn't get many people wanting to interact with her. Kids usually stare or avoid her completely. Maybe they could be friends. Sure. The boy dropped to his knees and started petting Luna. Rough. Grabbing at her fur. Gentle. I said, she's a working dog. He ignored me. Grabbed Luna's ears. Pulled. Luna Vimperez. I said, gentle. The mom walked up. Sorry. He just loves dogs. We've been wanting to get him one. But they're expensive. It's okay. She watched her son yank Luna's tail. Didn't correct him. Most dogs bite him. How do you get her so calm? She's a service dog, especially trained. I said calmly. Oh wow. For what? She's a guide dog? I responded for my daughter. She's blind. The woman stopped smiling. Looked at still. She doesn't look blind. I felt my jaw tighten. Excuse me. I'm just saying she's looking right at me. I did a double take. Are you serious? The boy looked up at Crystal. Waved his hand in front of her face. Hello, Earth to weirdo. Don't do that, I said. He did it again, closer. Almost touched her nose. Crystal flinched. Mommy, stop it. I said. Firmer now. The boy laughed. She's faking, Mom. The woman tilted her head. You know, he might be right. Kids fake stuff all the time for attention. The boy stood up, still holding Luna's collar. If she's really blind, she doesn't need a dog. Blind people use sticks. He looked at his mom. The woman looked at him, then Luna, then at Crystal. Something shifted in her eyes. You know, my son is autistic. He should have this dog. Before I could even respond, the boy yanked Luna. Collar. Come on, dog. You're mine now. Crystal felt the pull. Gripped the harness tighter. No, Luna, stay. Let go, weirdo. The boy pulled harder. Mommy. I turned to the kid. Get your hands off the dog now. The woman stepped in between me and her son, acting as a shield for his bad behavior. Don't you dare talk to my child like that, she snapped. Her voice was shrill, the kind of tone that demanded a manager, a refund, and an apology all at once. He just wants to play with the dog. You people are being selfish. Look at him. He's crying. He wasn't crying. He was sneering. He was pulling Luna's collar with both hands now, trying to drag an 80-pound golden retriever away from her handler. Luna, bless her soul, had planted her feet. She wasn't growling. She was too well trained for that, but she was letting out a low, distressed whine, her eyes darting between me and Crystal. Crystal was hyperventilating. Her hands were clawing at the empty air where Luna's harness handle should have been. Mom, they're taking her. I can't feel her. Let go of the leash. I shouted, stepping forward to grab the boy's wrist. The woman shoved me. It wasn't a hard shove, but it was enough to knock me off balance. I stumbled back, my heel catching on a tree root, and I went down hard on my hip. Stay back, the woman screeched. My son has needs. Your daughter is clearly faking it. If she was really blind, her eyes wouldn't look like that. You're just using the dog to get special treatment. She turned to her son. Take the leash, Tyler. Unclip it from the harness. We're taking the dog to the car. No. Crystal screamed, a sound of pure, terrifying helplessness. She scrambled off the bench, falling onto the dirt, reaching out blindly. Luna! Luna! My vision went red. I scrambled to get up, ignoring the shooting pain in my hip. If you touch that dog one more time, I swear to God. You'll what? The woman sneered, looming over me. You'll assault a minor? I'll call the police. I'll tell them you attacked us. Who do you think they'll believe? Me, or the crazy lady screaming at a child? The boy, Tyler, fumbled with the clip on the harness. I got it, Mom. It's coming off. Luna let out a sharp bark, a warning. She sensed Crystal on the ground. She sensed the threat. Then the air changed. It wasn't a sound. It was the sudden, absolute absence of sound. The bird seemed to stop singing. The wind died down. A shadow fell over the woman and her son, long and dark. I looked up. Jason was standing there. He hadn't run. I hadn't heard him approach. He was just there, standing about 3 feet behind the woman. He was holding 2 water bottles. His face was completely expressionless. No anger. No frown. His eyes were dead, flat shark's eyes. I had known Jason for 12 years. I knew his sleep breathing, his laugh, the way he hummed when he cooked. But I did not know the man standing there. Jason, I whispered. The woman heard me and spun around. When she saw him, 6'2" of silent, motionless muscle, she flinched, but her entitlement overrode her survival instinct. Are you the father? She huffed, crossing her arms. Your wife just attacked my son. We are taking this dog as compensation for the trauma. My son is autistic and he bonded with it and… Jason dropped the water bottles. They hit the ground with a heavy, wet thud. He didn't speak. He stepped forward. The woman took a step back, her confidence faltering. Excuse me? I'm talking to you. Jason walked past her, as if she were made of smoke. He went straight to the boy. Tyler was still tugging on Luna's collar. Jason reached down. He didn't grab the boy's wrist. He didn't shove. He simply placed one large hand over the boy's hand on the collar. He applied pressure. Not enough to break bone, but enough to trigger an evolutionary response in the kid's brain that said, predator. Let go, Jason said. His voice wasn't loud. It was barely a whisper, but it carried a frequency that vibrated in your chest. It sounded like gravel grinding under a heavy boot. Tyler looked up. He saw Jason's face. The sneer vanished. The bratty entitlement evaporated. The boy went pale, his mouth opening in a silent gasp. He released the collar instantly, snatching his hand back as if the nylon were red-hot iron. Mommy! Tyler scrambled backward, crab-walking away from Jason. Jason didn't look at the kid again. He knelt down next to Crystal. His touch changed instantly, from iron to velvet. He scooped her up, dusting off her knees, and placed her back on the bench. He grabbed Luna's leash and placed the handle firmly in Crystal's shaking hand. I've got you, baby, he murmured, kissing the top of her head. Luna is right here. Nobody is taking her. Daddy, Crystal sobbed, burying her face in his shirt. They said I wasn't blind. They tried to steal her. I know, Jason said. I know. He stood up. He turned to the woman. She was trembling now, realizing the momentum had shifted. But she was stupid. Stupid and proud. You assaulted my child, she shrieked, fumbling for her phone. I'm recording this. I'm calling the cops. You twisted his hand. Jason walked toward her. He moved with a terrifying fluidity, slow and deliberate. He stopped 6 inches from her face. He forced her to look up at him. Call them, Jason said. The woman froze, her thumb hovering over the screen. Call them, he repeated, softer this time. Dial 911. Tell them you attempted to steal a federally protected medical device from a disabled child. Tell them you assaulted my wife. He glanced at me, noting the dirt on my jeans and the way I was favoring my hip. His eyes darkened by a fraction of a shade. Tell them you committed grand larceny and assault and battery in a public park with cameras. He pointed a finger toward the light post 10 yards away. A black dome camera sat atop it. The woman's face drained of color. I didn't know. You didn't care, Jason corrected. He took a step closer. She took a step back, hitting the bench behind her. Let me be very clear, Jason said. The conversational tone was gone. This was something else. This was a command from a place deep and dark. You are going to take your son. You are going to walk to your car. You are going to leave. If I see you in this park again, if I see you near my family again, I won't call the police. He leaned down, bringing his face level with hers. I will find out where you work. I will find out who holds your mortgage. I will find out every secret you have ever buried. And I will dismantle your life brick by brick until you are living in a cardboard box. Do you understand me? The woman couldn't speak. She nodded, a jerky, terrified motion. Verbalize it, Jason whispered. Yes, she squeaked. Yes, I understand. Go. She grabbed her son's hand, dragging him so hard he stumbled, and practically ran toward the parking lot. She didn't look back. Jason stood there, watching them until their car screeched out of the lot. He didn't move a muscle. His chest wasn't heaving. He wasn't sweating. He was completely, unnervingly still. I slowly stood up, my hip throbbing. Jason. He turned to me. The shark eyes vanished. The warmth flooded back in, but it was different now. It was guarded. Are you okay? He asked, rushing over to support me. Did she hurt you? I'm fine, I said, though I was shaking. Jason. Who was that? He looked at me, confusion knitting his brow. What do you mean? It was me. No, I said. That wasn't the Jason who cries during Hallmark commercials. That was scary. He sighed, running a hand through his hair. I snapped. I guess. He didn't snap. Snapping is messy. Snapping is loud. What Jason did was surgical. We went home. The mood was heavy. Crystal was quiet, clinging to Luna. We ordered pizza, but no one really ate. Around 9 p.m., I put Crystal to bed. When I came downstairs, Jason was sitting at the kitchen table with his laptop. He wasn't browsing news or watching sports. He was typing furiously. "What are you doing?" I asked. He closed the laptop a little too quickly. "Just catching up on emails. Work stuff." I knew he was lying. Jason worked in logistics for a shipping company. He didn't have work stuff at 9 p.m. on a Saturday. "Jason," I sat down opposite him. "You threatened that woman. You said you'd dismantle her life. That didn't sound like a bluff." He looked at his hands. "It was heat of the moment, honey. I just wanted to scare her." I wanted to believe him. But the next morning, things started getting weird. I woke up to Jason humming in the kitchen, making pancakes. He seemed back to his old self, gentle, goofy dad. "Blueberry for the princess," he said, sliding a plate to Crystal. "And coffee for the queen." Everything seemed normal until Tuesday. I was scrolling through our local community Facebook page, Valley Moms and Neighbors, when I saw a post. It was from the woman at the park. Her name apparently was Karen, ironic I know but true. Warning, maniac at Elm Park. I was there with my autistic son just trying to pet a dog, and this man threatened to kill us. He attacked my son. He's dangerous. His wife and daughter were there too. Watch out for a guy, 6 feet 2 inches, brown hair, driving a gray truck. The comments were blowing up. People were outraged. "Call the cops. What a monster." My heart hammered. I ran to Jason in the home office. "Jason, look. She's twisting it. She's trying to dox us." Jason looked at the post. He didn't panic. He didn't get angry. He actually smiled. A small, cold smile. "Interesting," he said. "Interesting? Jason, people are threatening to find your truck. We need to reply. We need to tell our side." "No," Jason said calmly. "Never interrupt an enemy when they are making a mistake." "Enemy? Jason, this is a suburban mom on Facebook." "She's not a mom right now." Jason typed something on his keyboard. "She's a liability. And she just authorized me to proceed." "Proceed with what?" He spun his chair around. "Do you trust me?" "Usually, yes. Right now, I'm terrified." "Good," he said. "Fear keeps you sharp. Just wait." Wednesday. The post on Facebook was gone. Not deleted by an admin, deleted by the user. In fact, the user was gone. Karen's profile had vanished. I asked Jason about it over dinner. "Did you report her?" "Something like that," he said, cutting his steak with precise, even strokes. Thursday. I went to the grocery store. I ran into a friend, Sarah, who works at the local bank. "Did you hear about Karen Miller?" Sarah whispered in the produce aisle. "Who?" "The woman who posted about the park. Turns out, she got fired yesterday." I froze. "Fired? Why?" "Apparently, someone sent an anonymous package to her corporate HR. Photos of her drinking in her company car. Timestamps of her clocking in while she was actually at the mall. And, get this, a video of her screaming racial slurs at a barista 2 years ago. They terminated her for cause immediately." I went home. I felt sick. Jason was in the garage, sanding a bookshelf he was building for Crystal. "Did you do it?" I asked. I stood in the doorway, arms crossed. He didn't look up. "Did I do what?" "Karen Miller. She lost her job today." Jason blew the sawdust off the wood. "That's unfortunate. In this economy." "Jason, stop. How did you get that footage? How did you get her work logs?" He finally looked at me. His eyes were calm, but there was a weight behind them I had never noticed before. "I worked in intelligence before I met you, honey. You know that. You said you were a supply clerk. You said you organized crates." "I organized information," he corrected. "I was an analyst for let's call it a specialized unit. My job was finding leverage. I was very good at it." I stared at him. 12 years. 12 years of marriage. And I thought he was a logistics manager who likes Sudoku. "Why lie?" I whispered. "Because I wanted peace," he said, putting down the sandpaper. He walked over to me, wiping his hands on a rag. "I saw enough ugly things. I wanted a quiet life. I wanted to be a boring husband. I wanted to be a dad who makes pancakes." He reached out and tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. His hand was warm, rough, and familiar. "But then she touched Crystal," he said softly. "And she touched you." And the quiet life paused. "Is it over?" I asked. "Did you destroy her?" "Not yet," he said. "She threatened to call CPS on us in that Facebook thread before she deleted it. She was going to say we abused Crystal." I saw the draft in her cloud notes. "You hacked her cloud?" "She uses password 123 for everything." It wasn't hacking, it was walking through an open door. And yes, I need to make sure she never has the credibility to hurt us again. Friday. The police knocked on our door. My heart stopped. I opened it to find 2 officers. "Mrs. Daniels?" "Yes." "Is your husband home?" Jason walked up behind me. "Officers. Can I help you? We received a complaint. the older officer said, looking uncomfortable. From a Mrs. Karen Miller. She claims you've been cyberstalking her. She says you got her fired. Jason leaned against the doorframe. He looked relaxed. Bored even. That's a serious accusation, Jason said. Does she have proof? She says you're a hacker. Jason laughed. I manage shipping containers, officer. I barely know how to reset the router. The officer chuckled. Look, we have to follow up. But frankly, Mrs. Miller has some issues of her own right now. Oh, Jason asked politely. Yeah. CPS paid her a visit this morning. Seems there was an anonymous tip about her son being left unattended for hours while she was out, and they found some substances in the home. I looked at Jason. His face was a mask of polite concern. That's terrible, Jason said. I hope the boy is okay. He's with his grandmother now, the officer said. Anyway, just stay away from her. She's spiraling. Will do, Jason said. Have a safe shift. He closed the door. I backed away from him. Substances? Jason? I didn't plant anything, he said, raising his hands. I just knew where she hid her recreational stash. And I knew her schedule. I just made sure the right people knew when to look. You called CPS. She was going to call them on us. I just struck first. And honestly, that kid, Tyler, he's better off with his grandmother. I looked into her too. She's a retired schoolteacher. Decent woman. She'll actually parent him. I sat down on the stairs. I felt dizzy. Who are you? I asked. He sat down next to me. He put his arm around my shoulders. I didn't flinch, but I stayed stiff. I'm your husband, he said. I'm the guy who loves you. I'm the guy who would burn the world down to ash if it meant keeping you and Crystal warm. He kissed my temple. I'm done now. She's neutralized. She has no job, no credibility, and she's fighting a custody battle she won't win unless she gets clean and takes parenting classes. In a way, I helped her. You ruined her, I said. I gave her consequences, he corrected. For the first time in her life. Life returned to normal. Or a new version of normal. Jason went back to being the calm dad. He fixed the sink. He took Luna to the vet. He read Braille books with Crystal. But I watched him differently now. When a contractor tried to overcharge us for roof repairs a month later, Jason didn't just figure it out. He took the man into the kitchen for a quiet 5-minute conversation. The contractor came out pale, sweating, and knocked 30% off the bill. What did you say to him? I asked Jason after the guy practically ran to his truck. Jason smiled, picking up his coffee mug. I just explained the logic of fair pricing. And I mentioned I knew about his unlicensed side business in the next county. Jason. He's fine. He's doing a good job now. I realized then that my husband hadn't snapped. A snap implies breaking. Jason hadn't broken. He had just engaged. We went back to the park 6 months later. Crystal was nervous, gripping Luna's harness. It's okay, baby, Jason said, holding her other hand. I'm here. We sat on the bench. It was a beautiful day. A man walked by with a large dog off-leash. The dog bounded toward us. Jason stood up. He didn't yell. He just took one step forward and looked at the dog. Then he looked at the owner. He didn't say a word. He just projected that terrifying, absolute stillness. The owner scrambled, grabbing his dog's collar. Sorry, man. He's friendly. Leash, Jason said. One word. The man clipped the leash on instantly and hurried away. Jason sat back down. He put his arm around me. Safe, he whispered to Crystal. Safe, she repeated, relaxing. I looked at my husband. The calmest man I ever met. And I realized I loved him more than I ever had. Not because he was gentle, but because he was dangerous, and he had chosen to be gentle for us. I rested my head on his shoulder. Hey, I said. Yeah. Remind me never to make you angry. He chuckled, the sound rumbling in his chest. You couldn't if you tried. I closed my eyes. And for the first time in a long time, I felt completely, totally safe.